Monday and the last couple of days of August here. Can you believe it?
I kind of can, but it also went by really fast.
It flew by. I know. Well, welcome into the News 10 Plus Digital Desk, everyone. I am Taylor Gattoni alongside Studio 10's Claudia Sella, who's going to tell us what we can expect today.
Yeah, so I think we're kind of still in that back to school mode just a little bit, so we are going to be talking about some back to school things. As far as that return to campus, how kids are really settling in.
It's busy.
It is really busy, and I think that after Labor Day it all kind of calms down, but for sure still busy this week. And this week, I don't know what you called it. We call it syllabus week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was always my favorite week.
A little ease into the school year, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really do much besides look over the syllabus.
Some of them, though, get you started right away, and you're like, whoa, we just got started.
I know. Yeah.
We're learning each other's names still.
Yeah, that should not be allowed, for sure. But, yeah, so just kind of the ease back in, so we're going to be talking about that, of course.
Mm-hmm. Michigan State students started today, and I believe Lansing School District also started. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, so everyone's really it's crazy. I can't believe that. I feel like we were just talking about school getting out. I feel like we were just talking about this.
Oh, summer is here. Nope, it's going now.
Yep, it's gone. And then we're also going to be, kind of talking about, with that back to school season comes that flu season as well. So we're going to talk about the importance of your flu shot and why, not only, because I think a lot of us, we know it's important, but we don't really know, why. We don't actually understand why. So we're going to have an expert who's going to tell us why it's important, why you should get it, who should consider getting it.
Prevent getting sick, and not just with the flu, but other vaccinations as well, yeah.
Totally, yeah, it's that vaccine time. And, my mom was a teacher, so I always got it not because I was going to school, but because her students, that was double for me to get sick.
Oh, boy.
So I always made sure, I would always write it on my calendar to make sure you're getting your flu shot. So, yeah, just some of those, going back to school things that we all have to think about. But, otherwise.
It's the whole checklist.
It is the whole checklist this week. So, yeah, and then otherwise we have, aside from today, we have a really exciting week. For the rest of the week, it is tailgate season, so.
It is. Are you going tailgate? Okay, so this Friday is the MSU-CMU game. Are you getting ready for it? Are you going to tailgate?
Studio 10 will be there, yes.
Ooh,
oh, yeah,
okay.
We'll be there. So, yeah, but otherwise, we'd love to see you at 3 p.m.
Sounds good. And if you cannot catch Studio 10 at 3 o'clock, or if you just want to watch back on anything with back to school, here's where you can go. It is their website, their Instagram, as well as their email. Those are all great ways to stay connected with Studio 10. And also head to their YouTube page at WILX Studio 10 and hit that white subscribe button if you're not subscribed already. Yeah, if you want to watch back on all of the move-in stuff, if you want to check in with Studio 10 coming up this Friday, seeing what they're doing at the game, you're able to go back on there as well. But always, you can tune in live to Studio 10 at 3 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, so go check them out. But with students heading back to school today, not too bad of weather. So that's why we're checking in with First Alert Meteorologist Justin Bradford to see what else you can expect throughout your first week back to school.
Yeah, a lot of sunshine, a lot of cooler than average temperatures, and just one shot at rain. And so that's okay with us because we've had quite a bit of rain lately.
Yeah.
A lot of storms have been going on too. That hasn't been great.
A lot of cleanup happening still too.
Yeah, and the heat and humidity seems to, at least this time, be behind us. We are going to start September on Friday, and so we do expect numbers will eventually start to cool back down. But we're actually doing something a little different headed towards the Labor Day weekend. And so this is kind of the cool week. Next week, I think we at least turn up the heat. Hopefully we can keep the humidity at bay a bit.
Yeah, keep the humidity out of here. I was looking at my thermostat in my apartment. It was getting really high.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Continuing to climb. Today, though, a good day for folks to give the air conditioning unit, which hopefully for you is still operable and still going, give that a break today.
Yeah.
We, again, are having pretty quiet conditions, and most of the early week will be that way.
Yeah, well, let's head outside where it's looking quiet weather-wise. But Michigan State University's campus more busy than usual.
Yeah, it's hopping out there. You can see students walking, crossing the road down there, buses traveling through and from East Lansing area. You can see Meridian Company Skycam Network view is pretty smooth sailing out there this afternoon, and the numbers are running at 74 in Lansing, 73 for Jackson. Very comfortable afternoon. We are a little below normal, but not by much. And again, this is very pleasant air. It's a lot drier than it has been lately. You see here in our wide view, the temperatures in the country right now, this is the coolest we are right here in the Great Lakes with the low 70s. And we've got a little bit of heat starting to brew a little to our south and west. Eventually we'll start to work some of that warmer air back in, but it's going to take until the end of the week and towards the weekend to get that pattern back in here. However, Labor Day looking pretty good for right now. We'll have a check on that in just a moment. Now, the hour-by-hour temperatures through this afternoon, they're going to creep into those mid-70s before heading back the other direction. Pretty quiet conditions headed into our evening. And the satellite and radar, once again, is also remaining pretty steadily calm. But if we back out, you notice that while the system showers are well to our south and east, there is one disturbance off towards Lake Superior right now. That's along a cold front that over the next about 24 hours or so is going to slowly push into the Great Lakes. And it'll probably arrive here right around 11 a.m. noon tomorrow. And with it is going to come the opportunity for a couple showers, maybe a thunderstorm. There is not a severe weather threat for tomorrow. I repeat, no severe weather expected tomorrow. However, we could see a shower or storm to go along with some of the steady rains that might come through from time to time, but it is fairly spotty. It's not a big opportunity for rainfall as we head throughout that later part of the day. However, we also wanted to give you an update on the tropics, because right now we have got what is still Tropical Storm Idalia, but with this most recent update, its winds are now at 70 miles per hour, and so the next update we get from Idalia will likely make it a Category 1 hurricane, but for now it remains a tropical storm down there off the west coast tip of Cuba and the Yucatan Peninsula right there. It's entering the Gulf of Mexico, and you'll notice here as Idalia continues to trek north, again, you see here, this is the current forecast projection. This is 8 p.m. this evening. It'll likely have intensified into a hurricane, which is what will likely remain until it gets to Florida. It's entering some very warm tropical Gulf waters, and you notice here, as we head into Tuesday night, it's become a Category 2, and the current forecast has it making landfall somewhere in that northwest edge of Florida on the Gulf side with 115 mile per hour winds on Wednesday morning, which would make it a Category 3 hurricane if that is the case. And so that's sort of what we are tracking here as far as Idalia goes. Now, once we get into the second half of the week here, into Thursday and Friday as well, this could still pose a significant rainfall risk for parts of Georgia and the Carolinas. As you can see, the current forecast cone has it kind of drifting back out towards the sea. But that really isn't until we get into Thursday. And so this is looking like it's going to be a midweek, early morning Wednesday landfall somewhere in Florida. If you do have any family or friends down there in the southeast United States, maybe check in on them and be sure that they're getting the proper updates on this system as it approaches, which of course we hope that they are. Now, as we head into the hour-by-hour forecast around here, very little going on, at least over the next about 16 to 18 hours. Tomorrow morning we'll start to see a few clouds drift in. That's of course after numbers cool down into the 50s again tonight. And then here's tomorrow's hour by hour. You see it's not very widespread coverage. Temperature is going to try to warm up. If we don't get the rain, it's very likely some places sneak into the upper 70s. But if we do get a few showers, it's probably mid 70s that our highs stop at. But as you can see, the coverage is not very steady and constant here heading into the afternoon, and evening's pretty quiet too. Once we get back into our Wednesdays, you'll see here we're back into the sunshine. We have got cooler temperatures though with a northerly breeze, and I do think Wednesday's highs, they likely will fall shy of 70 degrees. It's probably the only day we do that this week, but it is going to trend a little bit on the cooler side, at least for the next couple of days. And you'll notice the 10-day forecast here is going to bring us back up to 74 Thursday, before 81-degree temps settle in on Friday. That's also, by the way, a big day for Michigan State athletics. The Spartan football team is opening their season at home, 7 p.m. Spartan Stadium, the kickoff there. That's against the Central Michigan Chippewas, and we got several proud Chip alum here in the News 10 newsroom, but we've got
go green over
several
here.
proud Spartans as well. So we've got some of both. It's going to be a fun little battle. It seems like a lot of folks in our building here are from one of those two schools. So I'm certain we'll have some fun with that as we go throughout the rest of this week. We've got temperatures look really comfortable for that game. And we, again, have got, I believe, Spartans currently 14.5-point favorites for that, for any of those interested in the gambling environment. But you know what? It's I think it's going to be, for both programs, hopefully a solid, steady start to the season. Regardless of win or loss, obviously, if Michigan State were to somehow drop that game, which I don't expect is going to happen by any means, I think the Chips are going to give them a run for their money early. But anyways, we get into a nice weekend. It looks like we have a very good forecast heading into Labor Day time frame, mid to upper 80s highs. And by the way, we had a really great Memorial Day. We had a really great Independence Day. And so if this Labor Day forecast holds,
make it 3?
we're looking at the trifecta of summer season holidays. I mean, this has been great. We had the unofficial start to summer with Memorial Day was beautiful. The Independence Day weekend was beautiful. And then we get out into this Labor Day weekend, and again, things are looking really nice as well. And so we've got a lot of good going on in this forecast. And once again, there are no drought concerns here either, because we got so much rain over the past couple of weeks, especially with some of the recent storms, that drought conditions are not going to be of a concern. And so if we get a nice dry stretch of weather over most of the next 10 days, that's actually going to be really good for us and help keep some of those water levels down. The soil's got plenty of moisture, and so no worries there. And in fact, the next couple of days, as I mentioned, going to be very comfortable. They all come in below average until Friday, at which point we turn the heat back up. So we're going to be maybe flirting with 90 early next week, including on Labor Day. That'll be something to watch. So it'll warm back up. So for the folks, whether they're hanging around here or if they like to, I don't know, travel up north in the state for one last summer hurrah, you've got great conditions all across the state for it. And so we should be able to enjoy that first alert forecast. 10-day usually doesn't look quite this nice as we get into late August, early September, but it does this time around. So, hey, we'll take what we can get, and frankly, we deserve it after what we've been dealing with the past week or so as far as the weather goes.
I was going to say, very nice and cool for this week, and then, we warm back up next week, and perfect, though, for Labor Day, especially, like you were saying, Justin, people heading out to the lakes. Hey, you can cool down in the water.
Yeah, folks like to get the last hurrah of summer, once again, and so that's going to be a great opportunity, I think, for folks to do that. Anyone who's traveling anywhere, especially if you're heading north in the state, I think it's probably going to be mid-80s in a lot of different locations. And the water, by the way, in the inland lakes is as warm as it gets in late August, early September most years, since you got a little bit of a slight delay in how the water heats and cools here, and so obviously air heats and cools a lot faster than the water does, and so those warm temps tend to linger into the Labor Day weekend. That usually is the best time to go out for a swim, jump in the lake if you're out boating, anything like that. You should have some great weather for that. No doubt later in this week we'll have the up north forecast prepared for folks, but there's a whole lot of good going on here too, and so we're going to have some great weather moving forward.
All right, thank you, Justin. Well, if you want to stay up to date, you can always download the First Alert Weather app, free off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Yeah,
and it's great. It's got all the features we always talk about, and especially when you're heading into a holiday weekend like we're going to have upcoming here, or you're getting ready to decide what you're going to throw on, your Central Michigan T-shirt gear for the game. Right. So, I mean, whatever you're deciding to do, obviously got that big football game Friday, nice holiday weekend to extend into here. It's good to know what's expected. First Alert Weather app helps you do that with all those features that we always talk about, which once again, free in Google Play or the App Store. All you got to do, search WILX Weather. It's easy as that. It's got our logo, everything else. There's nothing else in the world that looks like it. So if you don't have it now, the best time to download, when is it?
Anytime. You should get it right now. It should already be on your phone.
Right. And if you don't, you know where to find it. It's great to have.
Perfect. Thank you, Justin. We are going to share what's coming up during First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news. And then we have Mars Anderson, who's standing right there. He's going to join us live in just a second. But we want to share what's coming up during First at 4 and our 90 minutes of news today. So we're going to start with Mid-Michigan Matters. We're bringing in Scott from the Capital Area District Library talking about school resources and different school resources that you can get at the library with your library card and beyond the books, okay? If you sort of help or share what resources you can look forward to coming up on First at 4. Then News 10 at 5, Mel Tucker is entering his 4th year. Can you believe it? 4th year as head coach of Michigan State football. Coming up on News 10 at 5, our Tim Stout breaks down what Coach Tucker had to say in his press conference this afternoon. Look forward to the recap coming up on News 10 at 5. Hey, Justin. And then News 10 at 5:30, Deanna Giles looks at the damage done to area crops by Thursday night's storm. I was driving through the Williamston area over the weekend, and a lot of damage you can see happening to the fields and the trees, just a lot. A lot of cleanup efforts still happening as well. And then News 10 at 6 p.m., we have team coverage on the continuing efforts across the area as we continue to clean up from those storms. So our very own Aaron Bowling looking at how the Red Cross and FEMA are looking to help, and our very own Tanaya Jordan also has more on the tree cleanup process. But like I said, Mars Anderson is here to also share what he has coming up today during our 90 minutes of news. And Mars, what can you tell us that you're working on?
So, we'll just go back. Today is the first day of school for the Lansing School District, but they also had an emergency meeting today, and they were just talking about the approval of educator contracts. I want to make that clear. So I guess the biggest thing that they wanted to know was that Lansing is a leader in the area compared to other school districts with what they offer students, and so what they want to offer teachers is adequate pay. So that's the big conversation of what I'll be talking about in my story, how they went ahead and approved this agreement, and just a great outlook on what the school year is going to look like.
Yeah, okay, and you said that's for Lansing School District?
Yes.
Okay, I know there's always a lot of talk, right? Not just with teachers' pay, but overall pay in many different industries. We've heard a lot of that talk over the summer. But have you spoken to any of the teachers on what they're thinking?
Unfortunately, because it is the first day of school, I wasn't able to get teachers, but this even expands farther than teachers. Okay. So we're talking nurses, we're talking part-time employees who are not in the classroom as well. So it's a lot that they're doing to just make sure that the staff that they have there are feeling more appreciated, more respected is that key word. And then also, what else did I learn today? There's just a lot of information. So yeah, it's been just exciting. It's the first day of school, so anything about education and trying to enrich the youth, I'm all for. So they really want to make sure their staff feel supported. Oh, that there were staff members who've been there for years.
Okay.
Years, and they were on a pay freeze. So now with this contract being approved today, they'll be able to receive that pay that they've been needing. So like I said, respect is the biggest thing. They want to know, or they want to let the teachers know, any teachers out there in the Lansing School District, that they are appreciated. So they want to make sure that they're getting their just due. And so, of course, with teachers feeling respected and feeling like they can be supported by their district, then that means they'll support the students.
Well,
so
teacher retention is huge, too, because you talk about all the teacher shortages, all of the turnover. That can really put school districts in a pickle as well.
Absolutely. And then you also look at it as new talent coming in. So it's asking the question of how do we go ahead and implement new talent, or how do we get them in here? How do we get them to stay in the district? So this contract is helping with that as well. So all around, looking at the veterans here, and then those new hires that could come in, they're just readying up to be the leader, I guess, when it comes to, I wouldn't say the school business, the school industry, but when it comes to education, Lansing School District is going to be top notch.
So they just really want to improve everything.
Everything, and they just opened a technical school today as well. And I learned that they have a horse program. They have a special needs school as well, and they have so they have that program. So stuff that I didn't even know about the school district, I got to learn today. So I feel like they're only headed up from here.
Lots of knowledge happening. Well, what time are you having that come up today, Mars?
That is going to be on News 10 at 6.
News 10 at 6. All right, make sure you look forward to that. It looks like our meteorologists are, they're playing with the background right there. We do want to send it out before we end News 10 Plus. Let's take a little look outside to see Michigan State students. There we go. Looking at a few cars on campus. This is right in front of the Communication and Arts building. There you go. There you go. Some cars moving along. I don't see any students right now. They probably in class, being studious and all. Well, that is it for our News 10 Plus digital desk today. If you have any other questions, you can always do it right there on our live chat, and we can always talk back to you. However, tune in at 3 o'clock. You will find Justin Bradford there if you want any more weather updates. And then we'll be back first at 4, followed by our 90 minutes of news. One more time, I'll show you that First Alert weather app if you want any of the updates, although this week looking pretty dry and sunny, with the exception of tomorrow, Tuesday, having those chances for rain that Justin was talking about. So if you want any further updates, download WILX Weather or the First Alert Weather app off of Google Play and the Apple App Store. Until then, have a great Monday, everyone. Have a great day.